every time that our body conduct metabolism. So take note ha, every time po class na nagme-metabolize or nagko-conduct ng metabolism ang katawan natin, there will always be waste products that will be generated. Meron at meron waste products na mabubuo every time na may metabolism. So one of which is we have your urea. So do you have any idea class kung saan po natin nakukuha ang ating urea? It is a waste product of what substance metabolism? Do you have any idea, class?
Urine.
Oh. Urea. It is a waste product of what? What substance? It is actually a waste product of, yes, urine. So urea is excreted out in our body via urine. So urea class, take note that it is a waste product of protein metabolism. So ibig sabihin class, when our body metabolizes your protein, may mapoproduce po tayong urea as a waste product, and remember that it will be eliminated via our urine. Are we clear with that? Okay, hindi react heart if clear po yun. Okay, good. So again ha, your urea, it is a waste product of your protein metabolism. Next one, your uric acid. Ayan. Sana ay common or parang kumbaga is naririnig nyo na si uric acid. Diba, uric acid, yan po yung mataas sa mga taong may anong condition?
Ma'am, gout.
Okay, very good. Sa mga may gout, may gouty arthritis, masyadong mataas ang kanilang serum uric acid level. And uric acid class is actually a waste product of what substance? Excuse me. Ano kaya? O hindi siya dahil sa munggo ha? O ayan, yung munggo mayaman yan sa uric acid, but inside our body, ano kayang substance ang pag na-metabolize ay bubuo ng uric acid sa katawan? Any idea? Uric acid is a waste product of what we call your purine substances. So we have your purine. So I repeat ha, ang ating uric acid, it is a waste product of your purine metabolism. And commonly class, saan po natin makikita yung ating purine substances? So actually, makikita po natin yan sa ating DNA and RNA material. So ibig sabihin sa ating cells. And remember class, di ba, ang ating cells, they are capable of what? Meron tayong tinatawag na apoptosis, right? Narinig nyo na po ba si apoptosis? Narinig na po ba? O kindly react like kung narinig na. Kung hindi pa is cry. Okay, sige. Si Charles, narinig na daw ni Charles. Saan mo narinig ang apoptosis, Charles?
Okay, ma'am, miscommunication. Akala ko
sa inyo po, ma'am.
Wag na pala.
Ha? Sige, Charles, ano yun? Apoptosis, this refers to your what? This refers to your programmed cell death. So pag sinabi nating programmed cell death class, yung mga cells natin sa katawan ay may period of time na talagang mamamatay sila. Kasi kailangan po silang ma-replace ng panibago. So once class na nag-undergo ng apoptosis, yung ating cells, of course, since they are made up of DNA and RNA materials, they will be releasing your purine. So yung purine natin, once metabolized in our body, it will now generate your uric acid. Nagkakaintindihan po ba tayo? Okay, hindi react heart if naintindihan. Okay, ulitin na lang ni Ma'am Rachel ha. Sa katawan natin class, meron po tayong tinatawag na apoptosis or apoptosis. So when we say apoptosis, this actually refers to your programmed cell death. So there is a period of time in our body where our cells automatically die in order to be replaced by new cells. Like for example, if you can still remember your skeletal system, di ba meron tayong osteoclast, osteoblast. So kailangan siyang mapalitan ng panibago. So ganun din po sa ating cells. And remember class, that our cells are actually composed of DNA and RNA materials. And remember, sa ating pong DNA and ang ating RNA, it is actually composed of your purine substances. So kapag ka namatay class, yung cells natin, marirelease po ang ating purine substances that once metabolized, that will release your uric acid. And remember class, your uric acid is a waste product that should be excreted out in our body via our urine. Are we clear with that? Kindly react heart kung clear na clear na. Okay, thank you. Next one, creatinine. Creatinine is a waste product of what? Creatinine, take note, it is a waste product generated by the breakdown of your muscle tissue. Remember ha, it is a waste product of the breakdown of your muscle tissue. This one is muscle ha. Muscle po yan. Okay, shortcut lang ni Ma'am Rachel yan. We have muscle tissue and even your dietary proteins. Yung ating muscles class, nag-undergo din yan ng metabolism. So once ang ating mga muscle tissue are metabolized, so it will result to the release of your creatinine. Now, actually, based on science, or this is true, ang ating mga kalalakihan or our male individuals, they have actually higher levels of serum creatinine. So take note ha, males, they have higher serum creatinine. Pag sinabi natin class serum creatinine, this refers to the level of your creatinine in your blood. So kapag ka may serum class, this refers to your blood. So ating mga kalalakihan, mas mataas po ang kanilang serum creatinine. Now my question is, bakit kaya? Bakit kaya mas mataas ang serum creatinine ng mga kalalakihan? Bakit kaya? Ulitin natin ha, si creatinine. Yan daw po ay waste product generated by the breakdown of your muscle tissue and dietary proteins. And actually, male individuals have higher serum creatinine. And why is that? Bakit kaya? I want to
Ma'am,
hear
higher testosterone.
of ano yun, Charles? Because of what?
Ma'am, higher testosterone.
Okay, so higher testosterone pwede because testosterone helps in the development of the body build of our male individuals. So aside from that, there is a specific answer. I want to hear the voice of sino mga participants natin. Ito, si Lexter Asirit. Lexter, why do you think mas mataas ang serum creatinine ng mga lalaki? Kayong mga lalaki kumpara sa amin?
Ma'am, hindi ko sure pero kung ma'am, siguro sa work.
Okay, sa work pwede, malapit na. Sa work, like anong klaseng work?
Kung kasi ma'am, like pagbubuhat ganun. Di ba
Okay,
sabi,
very good. Pagbubuhat. Okay, good. So actually, thank you Lexter. So mas mataas ang serum creatinine ng mga lalaki mainly because mas malaki po ang portion ng or mas malaki po ang muscle ng lalaki. Mas madami pong muscles ang lalaki compared to women. That is why, of course, kung madaming muscle sa katawan ng lalaki, mas madaming muscle tissues ang pwedeng ma-metabolize, creating now higher levels of your creatinine. Are we clear with that? Nakuha po ba ang tanong, ang sagot dun sa question ko kanina, bakit mas mataas ang serum creatinine ng mga lalaki? That is mainly because mas mataas po ang kanilang muscle mass. Okay, next one, we have your ammonia. So ammonia class, this is actually a byproduct of your protein metabolism. Remember the term ha, we have what we call byproduct. It is a byproduct of your protein metabolism. And actually, sa ibang mga individuals, ammonia or parang kumbaga malakas yung amoy ng ammonia sa ating ihi. So ito po yung nagbibigay ng characteristic odor sa ating urine. So that is your ammonia. So lalo na po sa mga taong dehydrated o kaya naman masyadong mataas yung waste substances sa kanilang ihe, ayun, mataas po or malakas po yung amoy ng ating ammonia. And actually, kapag masyadong masangsang ang odor ng ating urine, that is actually a sign of your urinary tract infection. Okay, next one. So aside from those, we have drug metabolism. It's very important. Remember, class, that once you take your medicines, of course, they will be metabolized and they should be excreted out in our body via our urine. And then lastly, of course, we have or the different metabolic waste that can be found in our urine. We have your urea, uric acid, creatinine, ammonia, drug metabolites, and we have your toxins. Okay, another function of system, we have regulation of your fluid balance. So our renal system class maintains blood volume, extracellular fluid volume, and your osmolarity via urination. So take note, class, that is actually rely on various hormones to fine-tune exactly how much water is reabsorbed or expelled in our body. So may mga hormones tayo. If you can still remember your endocrine system, favorite ata ng lahat ang endocrine system eh. 'Di ba? I did mention various hormones that actually control or that actually influence the volume water that will be excreted or reabsorbed in our body. So can you please give me a specific example of hormone that may influence dun sa ating water excretion reabsorption via our urine? Anyone? Ano na ngayon nabanggit ni Ma'am Rachel dun sa ating recorded discussion regarding your system that may influence water excretion or reabsorption in the body? Anyone? Bawal matulog ha. Makinig ng mabuti, Rachel. I will no longer provide you recorded lecture, so I need you to listen very carefully. Ano? Ako nang sasagot? Okay, so remember your antidiuretic hormone. Kindly react hard kung naalala pa si antidiuretic hormone. Diba your sino yun? Si Charisse lang ba yun ang nakakaalala? Si Jam Valdez Ramos. Yes, Jam? May kayo sabihin? Miss Ramos? Okay, your
Ma'am, nakikinig lang po.
Okay. So your antidiuretic hormone is your what? That is your vaccine. 'Di ba? Pinipigilan tayong umihi ng ating antidiuretic hormone or pinipigilan yung paglabas ng fluid via our urine. Okay, so you need to, of course, review again system since your final exam will be cover to cover. Okay, aside from that, our renal system regulates your electrolytes. So our renal system controls concentrations of the following. We have your sodium ions, potassium ions, calcium ions, chloride ions, we have your phosphate, and your magnesium. So do you know your electrolytes? Diba when we say electrolytes class, these are what? These are simply your essential minerals in the blood and in the different bodily fluids that carry an electric charge. Like for example, your sodium, di ba meron siyang positive charge? Ganun rin sa ating potassium and even your calcium chloride or your chloride ion have negative charge. Now remember class that when these electrolytes accumulate o kaya naman masyadong kokonti ang katawan or masyadong kokonti ang concentration sa katawan, that will lead to different or that will lead to various conditions. Like for example, okay, let me ask you a question. What do you call a clinical condition characterized by low serum sodium levels? I repeat my question. What do you call a condition where there is a low serum sodium levels? Anong tawag daw, class? Condition na may masyadong mababang sodium ion level sa dugo. What do you call that? Anyone?
Ma'am, hyponatremia.
Okay. di ba, we have your hyponatremia. So remember class that when it comes to your electrolytes, di ba, we use the terms hypo and your hyper. Hypo, yung electrolyte level natin is what? Baba. Kapag ka naman hyper, we use the prefix hyper if the concentration of your electrolyte is very, very high or if your sodium level is very low, that is what you call your hyponatremia. Kapag mataas naman, what do you call that one? That is your hypernatremia. Tama po? Naalala ba? Naalala sila? Okay, and the react heart kung naaalala sila. Ayan, okay, like. Okay, next one. How about your potassium? What do you call potassium? Pag ba? Hypo?
Hypokalemia.
Okay, very good. We have your hypokalemia. Kapag ka naman mataas is hyperkalemia. How
Ma'am, hypocalcemia.
Okay, very good. We have your hypo and hypercal. So we have your hypocalcemia and we have your hypercalcemia. Next one, chloride ions. How about your chloride ions? Pagka mababa, what do you call that one? Ano kayang tawag kapag ka masyadong mababa ang ating chloride ions? Ay, wala na. Wala nang idea. I think this one, calcemia should be letter E. Apologies. We have hypocal and we have hypercalcemia. Letter E yan ha. O, um, revise na lang o paki-change na lang yung inyong na-take note. How about your chloride ions? Kapag that is what you call your hypo. Sige, merong nag-recite yata. Okay, we have your hypochloremia. And we have your hyperchloremia. And then for your phosphate, we have your hypophosphatemia and we have your hyperphosphatemia. For magnesium is what? Just simply hypomagnesemia and hypermagnesemia. Nagkakaintindihan po ba? Nakuha po ba? You have your phosphatemia and then just simply hyperphosphatemia. And then we have hypo or hypermagnesemia. Okay, so these are the different conditions characterized by the low or high levels of your electrolytes. Okay, next one, another function of your renal system, we have regulation of your acid-base balance. So remember class that our renal system, it maintains blood pH through your hydrogen ion secretion and we have your bicarbonate conservation. So what is the characteristic of your hydrogen ion? Is it an acidic substance or a basic substance? Basic ba si hydrogen ion or is it a acidic substance?
Ma'am, acid po.
Ion class, remember, it is an acidic substance that is produced continuously during normal metabolism. So I repeat ha, your hydrogen ions class, it is an substance that is produced continuously during normal metabolism. Now remember in our body class, excessive hydrogen ion levels in our body, it lowers our excessive ha, sobra-sobra daw po ang ating hydrogen ions sa katawan, that will lead to or it will lower now your blood pH. At kapag ka mababa ang blood pH, what does it mean? Anong ibig sabihin kapag ka mababa ang blood pH? Is our blood acidic or basic?
Acidic, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So kapag ka sobra-sobra ang hydrogen ion one, since it is an acidic substance, that will lead to the lowering of our blood pH, making it too acidic. So that will lead to a condition called your acidosis. Ibig sabihin, pong acidic ang dugo. So of course, in order to prevent this hyperacidosis, so the kidneys will now actively remove hydrogen ions from our body through urination. Your bicarbonate. So bicarbonate conservation. So remember class that your bicarbonate, it is the body's major extracellular buffer. So I think you have your quality, tama ba? Your QC, quality control, tama? Diba you have your QC1 first years? What does it mean? What does it mean when you say buffer? Yung bicarbonate daw nating class, it is a major buffer in the body. Anong ibig sabihin ng buffer? B-U-F-F-E-R. Buffer is a substance or a solution that resists sudden change in pH. So yung ating bicarbonate class, meron po yun sa katawan natin para hindi po agad-agad mag-fluctuate or magda-depress masyado ang pH ng ating katawan. So kumbaga, your bicarbonate neutralizes our acids, yung mga acid sa katawan natin. And take note class that actually sa ating kidneys, 99% of your bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed in the. Ulitin ko ha, 99% po class ng ating bicarbonate ions are actually reabsorbed in the urine. 99% of your bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed in the urine. So, ibig sabihin, class I, bumabalik po sa systemic circulation natin ng ating bicarbonate ions. Okay, so another function of your of your renal system, I should say, is your blood pressure regulation. So kidneys regulate blood pressure through fluid balance. So how does fluid affects our blood volume? So take note class that if you have low fluid volume, pag meron po tayong mababang fluid volume, lowers also your blood pressure. At kapag ka masyadong mataas naman class ang ating fluid sa katawan, that will also lead to that will increase your blood pressure. Meron ba kayong mommies or daddies o kaya naman titas, lolos or lolas na nagtitake ng mga tag dito? Ng mga diuretic agents. Do you know your diuretic agents? Narinig na po ba yung mga diuretic agents nating class? Ihi? Sino to? Anyone? Okay, hindi react heart nga kung meron at least kahit papanong idea about your diuretics. Mga diuretics, pag sinabi natin class diuretics, these are agents that promote what? That promote diuresis or production of urine. Pinapaihi niya po yung ating mga pasyente. And remember class, that yung ating diuretics, these are drugs that are commonly used for the management of your hypertension. So ginagamit po natin sila class manage yung mataas na blood pressure ng ating mga pasyente. At bakit? Paano sila nakakatulong? Babalik lang po tayo dito, class. So remember, kapag mababa ang fluid volume, mapapababa din po natin ang ating blood pressure. Nagkakaintindihan po? Naintindihan po ba? Kindly react heart kung naintindihan. Okay, so that is the diuretic. So ginagamit po siya again sa ating management of your hypertension because excessive fluid in the body may result to an increase in blood pressure. So in order to manage this, kailangan po nating paihiin yung ating mga pasyente para mapababa din po ang kanilang blood pressure. Okay, next one, sodium regulation. So of course, sa ating ihi class ay, just like what we have, na isasama po sa ating ihi yung ating sodium. And take note class that kung nasaan po ang ating sodium, ando din po ang ating tubig. Because remember, sodium is a water attractant. Ina-attract niya po ang ating water. So every time class na mataas ang ating sodium sa katawan, mataas din po ang ating fluid volume. Kaya nga po yung mga pasyente natin na may hypertension, 'di ba? They are actually advised to minimize their salt intake. Kailangan po nilang bawasan yung consumption nila ng mga foods or any products na rich sa salt o kaya sa asin. Kasi kapag masyadong mataas ang asin sa katawan, mataas ang fluid volume, therefore, mataas din po ang ating blood pressure. Nagkakaintindihan po? Okay, next one. Thank you. The next one is sa iba, naintindihan ba? O kahit hindi kayo nagre-recite heart ha, para alam ko kung kailangan kong ulitin, kailangan kong i-emphasize ng mabuti. Okay, thank you. Next one, we have your hormone release. So remember class that when our kidneys detect meron pong masyadong mababang blood pressure o kaya masyadong mababa ang water or sodium sa katawan, it actually release a certain hormone or a substance that may increase our blood. Uulitin ko class ha, when our kidneys, yung kidneys daw natin, na-detect niya na may masyado tayong mababang blood pressure o kaya naman mababa ang ating sa katawan or masyadong mababa ang ating sodium, hindi naman din po, parang kumbaga, hindi din naman po siya ganun kaganda pag sobra-sobrang mababa. So, ang ginagawa ng katawan nating class, particularly that it releases a certain hormone that will increase our blood pressure. And what is that substance? Do you have any idea kung ano yung substance na re-release kidney in order to increase our blood pressure? Any idea?
Ma'am Renin, ma'am.
We have your renin. Yan po yung nire-release ng ating kidneys para mapataas po ang ating blood pressure. Okay, good. Important mechanism of our blood pressure regulation is what we call your renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system or your RAAS system. So for this one class, this will be discussed to you later on. Second years kayo, so this is not yet the time for you to to study this one because this is too as a first year student, this is quite complex pa. Okay, so kapag ka naging second year na lang kayo. But I think if you have watched our recorded discussion regarding and your coronary artery disease, pinanood po ba yon? I think I have mentioned your RAAS. Okay, hindi react heart nga kung napanood nyo yung part na yon. Okay, so napanood nyo na. So at least kahit papano ay meron kayong idea about your renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. System class will be discussed further later on when you have your pharmacology and pharmacology 1. Okay, then lastly, we have hormonal function. So kidney produce hormones including, we have your erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is very important because it stimulates RBC production. So actually class, ang ating erythropoietin, ayan, binibigay po yan. So it is actually formulated a drug na binibigay yan sa mga anemic patients. So yung mga may anemia. So they are not capable of producing enough RBC. So para matulungan sila managing their condition, we actually administer your erythropoietin in order to stimulate or to increase your RBC production. Next one, just like what we have mentioned, your renin, it regulates blood pressure, and we have your calcitriol, which enhances calcium absorption. Okay, let us now move class to the components of your renal system. So first one, let us discuss the component, which is your kidneys. So humans have two kidneys located retroperitoneally on either side of the vertebral column. So take note, class, that our right kidney is kidney. Question, bakit kaya? Bakit kaya medyo mas mababa ang ating right kidney compared to your left kidney? This is primarily because of your liver placement. Because just above your right kidney is andudon po yung ating liver. So mas mababa locate yung ating liver. Okay, so for the average size of your kidney, so it is about 10 to 12 centimeter long, and remember, it is bean shape. Okay, so for the structure of your anatomy, so this is the cross-section anatomy of your kidneys. So we have the following: your renal artery, your renal vein, renal pelvis. We have your renal medulla, renal cortex, and renal columns, renal pyramid, so on and so forth. So we will be discussing these structures one by one later on. Okay, punta po muna tayo, class, sa different layers of the kidney. So remember, to filter blood, manage waste, and produce urine. Okay, so renal cortex, it actually contains approximately 1 million nephrons. So are you aware or familiar ba kayo sa term na nephrons? Naririnig na po ba ang nephrons, class? Kindly react heart kung quite familiar na, o si Lexter lang ba ang familiar sa ating nephron? Class, this is the filtering unit of the kidney. So kumbaga, class, yan po yung structure sa kidney natin responsible for filtering blood. So nephrons, this is, or they are considered to be the filtering unit of the kidney. And take note as well that your renal cortex, it is the outer layer of your kidney. Next one, renal medulla. From the term medulla, this is the middle layer. So it contains your renal pyramids, which are striped, triangular structures containing the renal tubules and ducts that transport your urine. The next one, your renal pelvis. So this is a funnel-shaped structure that collects urine and passes it into the ureter. Take note, class, just like what we have mentioned kanina, di ba? Our kidneys are responsible for filtering our blood. So once, class, na na-filter yung blood natin, parang kumbaga is niya yung different waste products natin. And those waste products will be, of course, excreted out in our body via our urine. Now, take note that ang filtering natin magi-start first with your renal cortex. Punta tayo dito sa image, ha. Tignan ninyo yung flow ng urine natin or ng ating blood. So of course, pupunta muna yan sa ating renal cortex. And remember, sa ating renal cortex, ano na nga niya, di ba? We have nephrons, which are considered to be the filtering units of your urine. So after your renal cortex, it will be transferred to your renal medulla. And then later on, as you can see, meron po tayong funnel-shaped structure dito, which is your renal pelvis that will collect now your urine and it will pass the urine into your ureter. So this is the flow of your blood and your urine in your kidneys, starting with your renal cortex first, followed by your renal medulla, and then lastly will be your renal pelvis. Okay, next one. The different external layers of the kidneys. We have your renal capsule. So it is a tough, fibrous capsule that maintains the kidney shape and protects it from your damage. So your renal capsule, also known as your fibrous capsule. So ito po yung renal capsule. Okay, so saglit lang. Okay, next one is we have capsule. So from the term adipose, it means fat. So it is a layer of fat that cushions the kidney and helps hold it in place. And then lastly, meron po tayong renal fascia. So it is a dense fibrous connective anchors the kidney to the abdominal wall and surrounding structures. Kaya nga 'di ba, parang pero sa puso yun, pero I just want to connect it dun sa mga sinasabi ng mga matanda or um, mga matanda. Sabihin na lang nating matanda. 'Di ba meron yung what you call this one? Pinagbabawalan tayo ng mga lolo or lola natin na wag masyadong nagtatalon-talon kasi maaari daw na parang kumbaga mahuhulog yung puso o kaya naman madedetach sa tawag dito, madedetach daw yung organs natin kapag masyado tayong naaalog-alog. But that is actually quite inaccurate or incorrect because there are actually structures in our body that attaches firmly our organs. Like for example, ito, your urinal fascia. So it makes sure class na naka-in place lang po or naka-attach pong mabuti yung ating kidneys sa ating abdominal wall para hindi siya gagalaw-galaw. Okay, the next one, we have blood vessels of the kidneys. So remember, just like your heart, sa ating kidneys. So we have renal artery and we have your renal vein. So for your renal artery, it is a large blood vessel that controls blood flow into the kidney. So it pumps a little over cups, which is around 1.2 liters of blood to the kidneys every minute. For your renal vein, it is the main vessel that carries filtered blood out of your kidneys and back to your heart. So take note class. Ayan, punta tayo dito. Diba? We have your renal artery and we have your renal vein. So alin kaya sa dalawang yan class ang nagke-carry ng unfiltered blood? O nabanggit ko na yung isa kanina. Is it your renal artery or your renal vein? Dalawa class ang nagke-carry ng unfiltered blood. Hindi pa po siya na-filter. Is it your renal artery or your renal vein? Is it your renal artery or your renal vein? Who wants to recite? O kindly react like if it's your renal artery. How about the others? How about the others? Okay, panay like. Okay, good. So renal artery class, yan po yung blood vessel ng kidney natin that carries your unfiltered blood. So kumbaga, nagtatransfer siya or nagtatransport siya ng blood going to your kidneys. Papasok pa lang po yung blood natin sa ating kidneys to be filtered. So it carries unfiltered. So after matransfer ng ating renal artery ang ating unfiltered blood, so of course papasok yan sa ating renal cortex, sa ating renal medulla, and then lastly to your renal pelvis. And then later on, yung blood, yung na-filter na blood natin ngayon will now be transported by your renal vein. Okay, remember that one ha, renal artery, it carries unfiltered blood. Your renal vein, it carries now your filtered blood. Okay, so far so good. May natututunan po ba? Kindly react heart kung may natututunan. How about the others? Okay, so punta na tayo class sa functional unit kidneys, which are your nephrons. So it is the functional or filtering unit of your kidney. So remember that around 1 to 1.5 million nephrons ang meron po sa ating kidneys each. So ating right kidney at 1 to 1.5 million sa ating left kidney. So for the anatomy of your nephron, ito po ang kanyang anatomy. So as you can see, meron po tayong different parts ng ating nephron. Okay, so we have the following, apologies. We have your afferent arteriole, your Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, we have your distal convoluted tubule, and we have your collecting duct. So kindly, we have your peritubular capillaries. So we have here a table, ayan, that summarizes the different functions of the. So let us first discuss your vascular network. So when we say class vascular network, this refers to a network of blood vessels found in our kidneys. So we have two. We have your afferent artery and your efferent arteriole. So afferent arteriole, remember that it is a branch of your renal artery. So it means that it delivers oxygenated and filtered blood into your nephron. While your efferent arteriole, it is the vessel that transports the remaining unfiltered blood away from the glomerulus. So I want you to focus on this one. Okay. So this is your. So once our blood enters our kidney, to be specific, your renal cortex, pupuntahan niya ngayon si ating afferent arteriole. So sa ating afferent arteriole, yung dami po ng dugo natin is papunta dito, papasok. So remember ha, letter A, afferent, we have arrives. Yung dugo po natin ay, it will arrive in your glomerulus. Okay, while your efferent arteriole, away po yan, efferent. Diba? Exit, letter E, it exits our blood, exits or kumbaga is away to your glomerulus. At ano naman glomerulus? So glomerulus, it is a specialized high-pressure tube of capillaries within the kidney responsible for filtering blood to form your urine. So this is the specific part of your nephron responsible for filtering our blood in order to form your urine. Nagkakaintindihan po? Kindly react hard kung naintindihan. So nephron, the filtering unit of your kidneys. Now, the specific part or portion of your nephron responsible for filtering your blood is actually your glomerulus. So remember, glomerulus, it is encased in your Bowman's capsule, and it is also known as your glomerular capsule, which is a double-walled cup. So let me redraw na lang yung image para clear. So parang kumbaga class, ganito kasi ang tsura ng ating nephron. Ayan. Okay, wait lang ha. Pasensya na sa drawing ni Ma'am Rachel. Okay. So yan po yung ating different parts of your nephron. So this one, ayan, this portion, this is your afferent arteriole, and yung papalay nating efferent arterioles. So this one again ha, this is your afferent and this is your efferent. Ang ating glomerulus class is this one. Ayan, it is a network of your. So dito po mafi-filter class yung ating blood. Papasok po yung blood natin coming from your afferent arterioles. Now remember, just like what we have mentioned, your glomerulus is actually your Bowman's capsule. Yung Bowman's capsule natin class is actually this blue portion. So this is your Bowman's capsule. So yan po yung tsura ng afferent, glomerulus, and your Bowman's capsule. So your glomerulus, it filters water and solutes while retaining blood cells and proteins. Okay, another portion of we have your renal tubules. So it is a long and convoluted structure that emerges from the glomerular capsule and can be divided into 3 parts. So we have your proximal, loop of Henle, and we have convoluted tubule. So from the term proximal, so it is named due to its proximity to the glomerulus. So ibig sabihin class, ito yung renal tubule na malapit. Kaya nga siya proximal to your glomerulus, malapit po siya sa ating glomerulus. So kung titingnan po natin dito sa ating figure, ito po ang ating proximal convoluted tubule. Malapit lang po siya sa ating glomerulus. And then the other one is what we call distal. Your distal convoluted distance, malayo po siya sa ating glomerulus. And then the last one is what we call your loop of Henle. Yung pong ating loop of Henle, it is a U-shaped tube that consists of a and ascending limb, and it transfers fluid from the proximal to your distal tubule. So in simple words, yung ating loop of Henle class, it connects your proximal convoluted tubule to your distal convoluted tubule. So para mas clear yung picture, we have this one. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin class kasi na convoluted, it means coiled. Diba kung makikita nyo, para siyang ano bang term sa Tagalog ng coil? Parang nag-twist yung mga parts. Ayan. So glomerulus, this one, it filters small solutes from the blood. And we have your proximal convoluted tubule. So malapit po siya sa ating glomerulus. Okay, this one. Diba? Napakalapit niya sa ating glomerulus. Meron pong specific functions itong mga to. So for your proximal convoluted tubule, it reabsorbs ions, water, and nutrients, and it also removes toxins and adjusts filtrate pH. One is we have your loop of Henle. So we have what we call your ascending loop of Henle, and we have your descending loop of Henle. For your ascending loop of Henle, remember, para matandaan ninyo kung excuse me,